Prey and the annoyingly long, stupid title. That title literally reminds me of that Captain Underpants book. I don't remember which Captain Underpants book it was. Was it the third one? I think it was the third one that had that annoyingly long title. The title for Birds of Prey reminds me of that. I'm just going to call it Birds of Prey to keep it short. It's really called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I'm going to call it Birds of Prey to keep it short, and this review will not contain any spoilers. A spoiler review will come at a later date. Birds of Prey stars Margot Robbie once again as Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn has broken up with the Joker. She's off doing her own thing, and when Roman Sionis enlists her to get a valuable possession back from him, she must do so in order to stop herself from being killed, and she teams up with 3 other women along the way, and they decide it would be best if they take down Roman Sionis and get rid of his presence in Gotham once and for all. I've never been a huge fan of the DC Extended Universe. I think it started off really rocky, really choppy. Wonder Woman was a step in the right direction, although I've kind of gone a little bit sour on Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is just fine. But out of those first 5 movies, Wonder Woman's definitely the best. I think they really started to get a hand in the right direction when they made Aquaman, and Shazam I think is fantastic. Shazam and Aquaman are still my top 2 favorite DC Extended Universe movies. For me, Birds of Prey is a lot of fun. Let's talk about Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She's the holdover from 2016 Suicide Squad. She's playing Harley Quinn again. She is great as Harley Quinn. I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She embodies everything Harley Quinn is in the comics and what I've seen in video games as well. Margot Robbie was conceived and put on this earth for one reason: to play Harley Quinn. It's like when you look at Chris Hemsworth, it's like, yep, nope, you were born to play Thor, buddy. That's exactly how I feel with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Ewan McGregor as Roman Sionis, or as far as I know, his name's supposed to be pronounced Sionis. And Black Mask, loved Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. Black Mask himself is one of my issues I'll get into in a little bit. But Ewan McGregor is great. I've never really seen Ewan McGregor as a villain in a movie. I think that he does a magnificent job in this movie as Black Mask. The others, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Journey Smollett Ball, I think that's how you say her name, as Black Canary, Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya, all really good as well. The directing by Cathy Yan, especially with the action scenes, I think is handled extremely well. There was one action scene towards the beginning where it got me a little bit worried because they were doing the whole Zack Snyder 300 and Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman slow-mo type of action. I was like, oh no, please don't do this. It was really the only scene where they did it. It was only a couple of times within that scene that they did it. So I was like, oh, thank God. So it made me happy, but everything about these action sequences, they look clean. By that I don't mean the violence is sanitized. I mean they look clean, like you can actually see what's in the frame, and it's not quick cutting away, because usually quick cutting away to me is a really sloppy form of editing, and it's to show you that the director doesn't really know how to direct action sequences. Either that or the action sequences were filmed with stunt doubles and they're trying to cover that up. That's not the case here. I mean, there are probably worse stunt doubles used in these action sequences, but it feels clean, it's in focus, and there are no quick cuts. They're wide shots, they linger long enough on the shot, and you can actually tell what's going on. Cathy Yan did a really great job directing this movie. I think she got the most out of everybody. She used everything to her disposal. I just really loved the way this movie was directed, especially those action sequences. There's a lot of humor in this movie. It is utilized great. I laughed a lot during this movie. There is some dark humor. There's some light humor. It's just, the humor just comes at you in terms like that. And I thought it worked really well. A couple instances where it didn't, but for the most part, the humor is great. This movie also does a really good job at being its own thing, I will say. There's going to be obvious comparisons, I think, to Deadpool. We get Harley doing voiceovers and a bunch of scenes, and we kind of cut back to, oh, well, you saw this, but here's what happened before that, like stuff like that we kind of did see in Deadpool. But the problem with movies today is that I feel like with every movie, and I'm guilty of it myself, is that people are just trying to find the last popular movie and are just trying to compare what's new to that movie. And I feel like that a huge comparison is going to be made to Deadpool here, and I think that that's kind of unfair, because while there are some similarities, Harley Quinn breaks the fourth wall in a couple of scenes. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's inspired by Deadpool or you can compare it to Deadpool. I think that this is its own thing, just like how Deadpool is its own thing. For issues with the movie, I think at times this movie lacks some depth. There's definitely some exposition that is in this movie to explain who some characters are. Instead of showing us who these characters are, they just tell us, and I felt that that was a bit lazy in the long run. I feel like sometimes they didn't really utilize the strengths of the main characters to the extent that they could have. So in that way, I felt that the movie lacked a bit of depth. I also think the script is a bit uneven in some parts. Again, with some exposition, there's some pacing issues towards the end of the second act where it does feel a bit long, and then there's a couple of tonal issues I also noticed as well, especially where it seems like you have this dramatic music. You cut to a very fast-paced, like, rock song, which, by the way, the soundtrack in this movie is amazing. I love the soundtrack. So it was just kind of there were a couple discrepancies there and a couple of conflictions there in terms of tone and some of the pacing that kind of threw me for a loop. And let's talk about Black Mask for a minute, because I really liked Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, to the point, actually, I really loved Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, but Black Mask himself, I didn't find all that menacing, other than one thing that he did. This dude's just a random Joe Schmo to me. Like, I get it, like, these characters don't have superpowers. I mean, Black Canary, yeah, but, like, the other ones is just, like, I get it, it's not really, like, a superhero movie about superheroes with superpowers. I understand that, but when it came to Black Mask, I was just like, your reasoning here just not really resonating with why you're doing what you're doing here. Those are really my issues. There's some lack of depth. I thought Black Mask could have been handled a little bit better. Tonal issues and an uneven script in terms of pacing and some exposition, but I did have a lot of fun with Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of, I don't know, not saying that title, just calling it Birds of Prey. Thank God January movies are over and we moved into February, because this is definitely not a January movie. This was a lot of fun. Definitely go and see Birds of Prey. Better than most of the January movies that came out this year. I'm gonna say you're gonna like Birds of Prey if you love that full bucket of popcorn. But like I said, I liked it, didn't love it. But finally, whew, good movie. So guys, what did you think of Birds of Prey? Drop me a comment in the comment section below. Stay tuned very soon for a spoiler-filled review of Birds of Prey. That will be on my channel sometime this weekend. I will leave my link to my website in the description below. There you will find all my links to my social media accounts. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.